I'm going to play this audio for you, and I want you to listen very clear to what you're about to hear, and then we're going to go and talk about it.
To be honest, I almost started to protest this show because
Why?
I'll tell you why. And this is our question of the week. We saw what happened to Nate Robinson, so I'm going to ask Jake Paul right here in front of America. Jake, considering where we are right now in our racial conversation in America, was what you did to Nate Robinson racist?
That is the question of the week.
Man,
Nah, stop playing with me. Come on.
listen, Jake, it's a sensitive time right now. We just had to witness a white man just knock a black man smooth out in front of all of America. So that's why I asked that. But just tell us about that moment real quick, because it looked like Nate was asleep before he ever even hit the cameras.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we train for. You know, at the end of the day, boxing's a sport, and you know, you train to win, and that's what I went in there and did, and I worked hard for this. And you know, Nate is the one who called me out originally. So
I think he is frozen.
Hey, can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
my
that's-
Wi-Fi is unstable, like my relationship.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
First and foremost, was it racist to knock a black man out? That is the question of the
No,
week.
stop asking me that. I said no.
It's not racist.
It's a shitty question. It's a sport.
Why is it a shitty question? Why is it a shitty question?
Because how does this have anything to do with race? It doesn't.
It's a fine question. We got to wake you up. You got to be a part of this conversation.
That's right.
Look, because if you can go from if
You know what? He just hit himself harder than Nate Robinson ever hit him.
yeah, if you can go.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there, and that was Jemele Hill and Kari Champion. You don't see Kari Champion, but they did pan the camera to her a couple times, but it was mainly on Jemele Hill because she was the one that led the question. So in case y'all didn't know, Jemele Hill and Kari Champion, who both used to be over at ESPN, are now both over at Vice. And let me remind you, Vice was founded by Gavin McInnes, the same Gavin McInnes who founded the Proud Boys. That's all I need to say right there when it pertains to that. So basically, what you had was Jemele Hill they were interviewing Jake Paul, and they were basically talking about the Nate Robinson fight, like many people have been talking about. So she was talking to Jake Paul, and she asked him, do you believe that you as a white guy, do you believe that it was racist of you to knock out a black guy? And he was like taken aback by that question. Now, let me just clarify something right quick. I do not like the Paul brothers. I have aired out my grievances about both of them on my channel on multiple occasions for various reasons. But if you could see the look on his face when Jemele Hill asked him that question, it was like, where did that question come from? That was so left field. Like, he was like, race was the furthest thing from my mind when me and Nate Robinson were fighting. He even said that Nate Robinson was the one who called him out, not the other way around. And he, you know, of course, he wasn't going to back down from it. So he went ahead and went, you know, with the fight. But it's also the way that Jemele asked that question. She tried to make light of racism. And racism is not something to be made light of. It's not. It's a very heavy, deep-rooted discussion that a lot of people don't like to talk about. Because notice if you hear how she's talking, she's laughing. She's not even being serious. She brought up the topic out of nowhere where it didn't even need to be brought up. And she's making light of it by laughing while trying to get through her words about racism and whatnot. I cannot stand Jemele Hardface Hill for nothing. And Kari Champion is no better. I didn't really follow Kari Champion like that, but Jemele Hill, she is a walking disappointment through and through. Like, to think at one time people actually admired this woman at one point in time. Not anymore. Like, she even thought it was downright hilarious when you heard at the end when she says about Nate Robinson falling or being knocked out before he could get one good hit off. Like you could tell, like when they panned the camera back to Jake Paul, because of course they were doing it virtually. He was like, no, like he was like, stop asking me that. That's a shitty question, and I have to agree that it was a shitty question. Like, where did that come from? It's almost like Jemele was trying to kick up dust where there was no dust to be kicked up. Like she was trying to get something popped off, like she was trying to instigate something. And of course, again, she had to make fun of it at the expense of a black man. Like she found that to be downright hilarious that this white guy, that Jake Paul, knocked out Nate Robinson, a black guy. She found that to be just downright hilarious, and then tried to bring the topic of racism into it and tried to make it even more light-hearted when it was no way that you could. But she's a disappointment. She just really is. And she probably doesn't know it, but people will let her know. Jemele Hill is trash. That was 1 minute and 53 seconds worth of cringe that you just heard. And Kari Champion, she's no better. But since Jemele Hill was the one leading the charge with this one, we're going to stay on her. But I don't know what else to say. I get tired of having to talk about Jemele Hill and all of her antics, because we know which side of the fence she really is on. Like who she really leans, towards. And this is the same woman who complained about 45 talking about the Proud Boys and them standing by, but she goes and works for a network that was founded by Gavin McGinnis, who founded the Proud Boys, the same one she has an issue with. Talk about being a hypocrite and a contradictory mammy at the same time. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.